Hello and welcome to the distance learning program of Cybercare Technologies. I'm Sangeet Chopra and this is the second part of module Internet in which we'll be covering SQL injection. Now, SQL injection is a very famous technique in which we get a login within any website without knowing the username and password. That means we'll write something in the username and password that will confuse the database, or you can say that will confuse the query and will return true to give you a login. So first of all, we need to understand this concept that how actually this happens. To understand this, I'll tell you a basic of SQL that we use while matching the data in the database. What happens is when you log in into any website, on the backend, programmer has already written a query that will be something like select star from table. Table name will be as per the programmer, where username is equal to, I'll leave it blank at this moment of time, and password will be again blank, and password is equal to blank. When we give a username and password in the text boxes in the login screen, the values are sent to username and password, right? So supposingly username is cybercure and supposingly password to log in into any website is password. So what we'll do is we'll write this cybercure in the text box in the login screen, and it will be sent in username. So I have copied it, I'll paste it. And when we'll write password in the password text box in the login screen, password will be sent to this particular place. So I have pasted over here. Now that means this will be the query that will be sent to the database and will be executed. If my username and password will be there in the table, or you can say if my username and my password will return true, that means both the values exists in the database, I'll get a result true and we will get the login. This is a very simple scenario that happens when you log in into any website in this world. Now supposingly we do not know the password. Now the third case is we are attackers and we do not know the password. So what we'll do is we'll write something like a quote or quote s quote is equal to quote s. This will be an SQL injection. This string value, or you can say this particular query, will confuse the database in such a manner that without even knowing the username and password, query will, without even checking the username and password in the database, it will always return true. Query will always return true. So what I'll do is I'll copy this SQL injection and I'll paste it in username, because I'll write it in the username column, or you can say username text box, and I'll paste it in password as well. That means you have to write this particular thing inside username text box and password text box. Now query will go to the database and query will be something like select star from table where username is equal to a. Supposingly this is false, but we have a or operator in between, that is a logical operator, and next to it we have another condition, that is s is equal to s. This is always true. S is equal to s, a is equal to a, b is equal to b is always true. Similarly, password is equal to a or s is equal to s. That means password is also true. That means my query will be universally true. It will always return true, and if it will return true, we will get the login. So this is named as SQL injection. Now let us try it practically. What we have done is we have developed a page that is like a login panel, and we have made it vulnerable by choice. Now this page is vulnerable to SQL injection. This is developed by us. I'll be even covering that how to secure this page. We'll patch this vulnerability of SQL injection in the later part of this video tutorial. So let us try the username and password over here. First of all, I'll give a wrong username and password, admin. I'll click on login, and what you can see is it says wrong username and password. Now let us try the correct username and password. It will be administrator as a username, and I guess password was admin@hello. Admin@hello. I'll click on login, and what you can see is that this page is working, means this login panel is working if my username and password is correct. Now let us try the SQL injection. Now SQL injection is obviously not the username and password. I'll show that in the database in the later part. And I give the SQL injection over here. I'll click on login, and what you can see is I got logged in. That means even after password and username was not known by me, I got the login. Let us check the database. Inside database, we have only one row. Let us check the database. Inside database, we have a table users. Inside users, we have only one row that says username is administrator and password is admin@hello. And when we give the SQL injection, we get the login. That means this is vulnerable to SQL injection. And the best part is, instead of A and S, you can give anything. I am giving 1 or 2. I'll click login and you can see we got it. This is named as SQL injection. This practically works on lots of websites. Unfortunately, I cannot show you live examples in video tutorials, but this still works on lots of websites, right? Major part is you should know how to patch this flaw. If supposingly your website is also vulnerable to SQL injection, what will be the countermeasures that will take to prevent this attack, right? So first of all, we'll see the code of this index page, or you can say this login page. This is the login page that you were looking at in the browser. This was the login page, right? And what you can see is values of username and password are sent via variables user and pass to login.php. So login.php is mainly the file that will send the value to the database. So let us check login.php. This is login.php, and what you can see is that values are sent via a session into the table users, and whatever the value will enter will go to user, and whatever the password will give will be sent to pass. If result will be greater than 0, that means if the result will be true, the result of the query returns true, you are redirected to another page that will be welcome.php, and that will be your home page. Else you will get an error, wrong username and password. This is the basic code that gives you a login, right? Now to secure it, it's very easy. You need to use encryption in the database. There's a very famous function that is named as Md5 that will implement on the database on users and passwords, right? So for doing this, what you have to do is, over here you will write Md5, and before posting the value into session, or you can say before checking the value into table, you will convert it into Md5. Md5 is a hashing algorithm, and it's a predefined function of PHP. You just need to add one word MD5, or you can see you need to add one function MD5. Now once you'll do it, password will be cross-checked with the MD5 hash that will be saved in the database. So we need to make changes in the database as well. So I'll change this password from clear text to MD5. To convert from clear text to MD5, what I'll do is I have developed a script that will be a MD5 converter. Let us check that script, and I'll copy this so that we can convert it. It will be myfile_md5, something that myfile_md5.php. Okay, now I'll give that password over here. That'll be admin@hello. You can find lots of MD5 converters online. You can go to Google and you can write MD5 converter, and you'll get these kind of MD5 hashes, right? This is a hash for the password, and now I'll update this password in the database. Go to localhost and I will update this password with the hash, right? Now I'll click on go, and now what will happen is that my password, there will be two uses. One will be my password will be secure even if someone will hack my database. User's password won't be misused, or you can say won't be leaked out. And another thing is SQL injection won't work. Now let us try the SQL injection. First of all, we'll try wrong username and password, admin. Obviously it won't work. Now we'll try the SQL injection. It will be q quote or quote g, quote is equal to quote g. Click on login, and what you can see is it says wrong username and password, where previously we were able to log in into the account, right? Let us try the last SQL injection that we tried, a quote or quote s, quote is equal to quote s, right? And we'll click on login, and again it's not working. Now let us try the actual username and password. Hopefully we'll be logged in via actual username and password. Username is administrator and password is admin@hello. And yes, you can see we got in. That means our SQL injection vulnerability has been patched by adding just one function, that is MD5. So what you need to do is you need to take two countermeasures. You need to keep two countermeasures in brain. One is input validation, that is restrict the special characters in the login box using JavaScript or PHP script. Another is use encryption or hashing for passwords in the database. This will secure your website from Sql injection. Now, hopefully, when you will develop a website, you can secure yourself from Sql injection. That is all in Sql injection. We'll meet again. Thanks a lot. Thank you.